Okay, yesterday we were learning you're not allowed to follow in the ways of the non-Jews. It's called Shusterman leiselechu. Therefore, you have to wear clothing. You're not allowed to wear clothing that is the style of the goyim. Whatever they would be wearing in their styles, exclusively for goyim, you're not allowed to do it. We're not only talking. Friends, I'll give you an example. In big Shulchan Aruch it says, throughout Shulchan Aruch and the codifiers in these dinim, in the big Shulchan Aruch it says like this: you can't wear red, you can't wear white, you can't wear black, you can't wear green, you can't wear every place right over there. I'm afraid to write a different. Why? Because in their country the goyim wore black, so then the Eden were not allowed to wear black. In another country they wore red, so you couldn't wear red. It depends where they lived. Whatever it was the concept of Chukas Hagoy, which is a very interesting din. The Taz holds, and the Alter Rebbe holds like that also, that there's a whole thing we're going to learn about wearing a kippah, yeah? So it says like this: you're not allowed to walk 4 cubits, which is 6 feet, or to say anything of Kedusha, Begilui Rosh, without the hair covering. You have to cover your hair in order to make a bracha. It says even... now, what's the origin of a kippah, what's called a yarmulke? The Gemara tells a story. Rav Nachum bar Yitzchak, the mother of Rav Nachum bar Yitzchak, was told by the stargazers that her son is going to be a ganef, a thief. That's what he told her. We see in the stars that your son is going to be a thief. So what did she do? From the time he was born, or bris, whatever it was, she made sure that he wore something on his head to remind him that there's something above us, meaning there's something Hashem, and therefore and he grew up to be Rav Nachum bar Yitzchak, was one of the biggest Amiroim of the Gemara. That's when, in fact, where does the word Yarmulke come from? I know everybody else says kippah, but in Ashkenazic circles they say Yarmulke. Yarmulke is 2 words, Yorei Malka, the fear of the king. So by having a yarmulke on top of your head, or covering on top of your head, you fear the king. So the Taz holds, one second, the Taz holds that nowadays, if the Jew doesn't wear a kippah, he's transgressing the sin of Chukusayim leiselechu. This is what the Taz holds. Why? He said, because why do you not wear a kippah? Because you want to look like the goyim. You want to be like the goyim. If you want to be like the goyim, that's the negative commandment. Chukusayim leiselechu. The Alter Rebbe paskins like that. There are other tshuvas that if a person in a situation where they can't wear it, the room cover, the ceiling, whatever it is. But ideally, if we live in America, it's not that dangerous. Svardim are very, very lenient with the concept of covering. And the reason for that is because the Goyim would wear turbans. So it wasn't the Goyish thing to have an uncovered head. On the contrary, the Goyim wore turbans. But again, there's a Tazol. The Sephardic community is much more lenient about kippahs or yarmulkes, as we call them, than the Ashkenazi community. But I'm just saying that the Taz Paskin and Alter Rebbe holds like that. In fact, it was taken out by the censors in Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, but it was put back in later when it's... Okay, so that's...
No, what about like people who are afraid sometimes to walk in certain areas that they don't want to be noticed because it would stick out, and maybe they're not in the situation.
If anything, a Jew is supposed to stick out. That's the whole thing that we should stick out to be Jews. It doesn't say you need to wear a kippah. It says you can wear a cap. You can wear any covering. So you don't have to wear, you're afraid to wear a yarmulke, you can wear a cap.
Certain places, sakana, like in Turkey.
Yes, so they wear a cap. What do the frum Jews do in Turkey? So they wear a cap. In Paris also, wherever it may be. Okay, a person shouldn't dress in garments that bring him to haughtiness. Like it says, very expensive garments that he's basically showing off what he is. You're also not allowed to wear dirty clothing, because that's a chil Hashem. The Gemara says, a Talmud Chacham, a scholar, that has a revav al bigdei. Revav literally means a grease stain, but it refers to any stain is chayiv misa, is obligated death penalty. Why? Not by courts, in concept. Why? Because it's a chil Hashem. He's desecrating God's name. That people say, look at the way the Jews dress.
What are the 3 colors that you show for?
No, this doesn't apply today. I told you, I said in those countries where the goyim wore black, so they wrote you're not allowed to wear black. And there are countries that wore green, they say you're not allowed to wear green. It's also depending on the season. I'll give you another example in Halacha. If you look in Gemara, old Halacha, the funerals, it's brought down in Halacha, you're supposed to wear black. Later on, it became a Goyish tradition to wear black at funerals. I'm talking top to bottom black. So there was a time that Yidden, Rabbanim said that Jews should not wear totally black to funerals. Why? Because it became a Goyish tradition of wearing black at funerals. It became a Goyish tradition, so he said Jews should not will go like that because it became a Goyish tradition. So these things that we said yesterday about the shoelaces, they would have a different color shoelaces, or I'll give you another example. It's coming up soon, not very soon, but soon. There's something called Halloween, in case you ever heard of it. Halloween,
Trick or treat.
yeah, Halloween, the problem with Halloween is it's rooted mamish in idolatry and in witchcraft, which are both biblically forbidden. So therefore, if a Jew celebrates Halloween, whether they dress up, in the Halloween garb or whatever it is simply speaking,
or give out candy.
No, giving out candy could be a different thing. I'll get there in a second. The fact that the dressing and that thing could be a biblical sin, not a rabbinic sin, it could be a biblical sin of dressing. Besides the fact, I know people are not going to want to hear this, but witchcraft is also part of idolatry, but it's also witchcraft. So, okay, I'm going to put it out on the table, even though people won't like the idea. Harry Potter is a question of idolatry for a Jew. For a Jew to wait in line to midnight to buy the book and get the movie and all that, in halacha is an extremely problem. It is a biblical sin to do it because it deals with witchcraft, even though it's fake, not fake, but it doesn't matter. It's witchcraft, which is an offshoot of idolatry, and it would be forbidden for a Jew to do it. Now, giving out candies is a different thing. It depends why you're giving out candies. Many religious Jews that have neighbors that are, okay. So I'm not saying you could, but I'm saying why a lot of religious Jews do give out candies, because if they don't, they're going to, you see the Jews, it's going to be a Chol Hashem. So they're not giving it because of the holiday spirit. They're doing it, they don't want the neighbors to say, look at this. Look at the Jews, too cheap. Or, they don't want to...
You don't think Rabbi Halloween is like entertainment?
No, Halloween is Avodah Zarah to the fullest extent. It's biblically forbidden.
But who's doing the practices of these things?
A guy goes trick and treating. They're transgressing a biblical Maveda.
Just go to look at the houses that are crazy decorated.
Nothing. That's you're going crazy. That's not practicing it. It's watching it. I mean,
I used to get a lot of money.
I'm not saying if you go to the West Hollywood parade on Halloween, it could be. There could be worse problems than that. Anyway, okay. Next, in dressing, and we find in Torah, Shulchan Aruch says like this. We find in halacha, right is more important than left. If you're a right-handed person, as far as the avodah, a kohen had to be right-handed. The miluyim, metzera, chalitza. There's a lot of things that have to do that right is more prominent than left. So therefore, halachically, there's a concept of right versus left. Meaning, when you get dressed, now let's start from the beginning. When you wash yourself, take a shower. Okay? So according to halacha, the proper way of taking a shower is, number one, you wash your head first. The head is the king. It's called Rosh Chol Eivarim. It's the head of all limbs. So halachically, you wash the head first. Then, halachically, you wash the right hand before the left hand. You wash the right foot before you wash the left foot, because right is more important than left. The same thing, like we learned, you put on your shoes. This is right-handed people, by the way. I'm talking about not lefties. A right-handed person, halachically, first puts on his right shoe, doesn't tie it, then puts on the left shoe, ties the left shoe, and then ties the right shoe. Why do they tie the left shoe first? Because by tying, where do we find tying in Torah? Tying the tefillin. You're tying the tefillin. What hand do we put the tefillin? Now we tie it on the left. So tying, we find in Torah prominence to the left. So therefore, you put on your right shoe first, you put on your left shoe, you tie your left shoe, if you have ties, shoelaces. You tie your left shoe, and then your right shoe. When you get undressed, then you do left first. Because again, right is more important. So getting dressed, you do the right side first. If you're getting undressed, then you do the left side first, because you're taking it off. So therefore, the same thing in all the dinim, you're supposed to, right comes before. Therefore, you tie the left foot first versus the right shoe. But the right is prominence in the left. So when you put in your hand into your sleeve, you're supposed to do the right hand first, then the left hand. Whatever it is, you do the right pants leg, and then the left leg. Now, if you're a left-handed person, so your left hand is your right hand. It's interesting. Halacha calls a left-handed person's left hand their right hand. So therefore, you do everything the opposite. By you left, so you wash your head first, then you wash your left hand, then your right hand. But then the issue comes up, which is a very interesting issue. It's not necessarily for now, because it's a complicated discussion. And that is, what happens if somebody is left-footed? Right-handed, but left-footed. You have a lot of people like that, by the way. Well, I know people. I have a kid I have a son, in fact, not this one, that's right-handed and left-footed. And it happens.
What's the left foot? What is the
So definition in halacha, what is a left-footed person in halacha? It's interesting. So Shulchan Aruch says that if you're about to walk, you put your feet together, and subconsciously, what foot goes first? Today's world, it's easier. If you kick a ball with your left foot, you're left foot. Not soccer players that kick with both, but like some people kick with what?
So if you're going back to the shower, if you're doing the right first, do you do the front hand?
No, you could do right hand, left hand, right leg.
No, it
doesn't matter.
Your leg. You do everything with the right side first, front hand.
No, and the leg is the right leg. No,
Take a bath, you won't have that problem. Rabbi,
Huh?
top is more important than bottom.
So when you get dressed, we didn't get there yet. We're talking about right and left.
Shower.
No, we're talking about b'chlal. You dress top to bottom, and you undress bottom to top.
What does it make a difference in the left foot? Rabbi, how does that in the left?
Because, first of all, this is about chalitza is a big issue. If a left-footed person,
When you put on your pants?
no, when they do, and also if they put on their pants, do they do the left leg first or the right leg first,
That's it.
or the shoes? Okay.